Hi, this is Catherine Turner in the Virgin Islands at the Agricultural Center. This is the second in a series on the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. I present Yoga Sutra number 2. Yoga Chitta Vritti no Daha, or the restraint of the modifications of the mind stuff, is yoga. This sutra is masterful in that it sums up the other 195 sutras in this one sentence. So this is the end game. This is the culmination of all of the practices that create a state of union or yoga. This is when we enter samadhi, where object and subject cease to exist and instead are perceived as united and one. The illusion of duality is dispelled. When you shine your light of attention on an object, it abides in its own true nature. But the minute that you modify it with something such as an opinion, then you leave the state of union. So in class this week, when I sought to illustrate the experience of modification, I set a muffin in the corner of the room while we did our asana practice. When we were done with class, and I retrieved the muffin and threw it in front of my class, the muffin had been covered with ants. So the exercise was even more powerful because the class recoiled seeing the ants on the muffin. They instantly modified the ants and the muffin in that they were repelled by the ants, and then continued to attach thoughts to it. I did as well, saying, oh well, my breakfast is ruined now, or how am I going to get the ants off of the muffin, or a variety of other modifications. In this way, the subject and object were added to or detracted from by the activity of the mind. To illustrate an even stronger reaction, I came up with the idea from the muffin that had I had a lump of donkey shit in my pocket and had thrown it in front of the class, the modification would have been even more pronounced in that the repulsion about the object would extend to me, and my class would wonder why I was carrying a lump of shit around in my pocket. This would be a very strong reaction, and we do have strong reactions. So this is where we leave the state of contentment and peace that we have in samadhi. If you take a very neutral object, say a ball of yarn, the waves of modification, our tendency to add to or subtract from the object is very small, so you can see the range of experience of your modifications. So we've talked about a ball of yarn, a lump of shit, a muffin, but it's not only physical objects that we apply modifications to. Actually, probably more than physical objects, we will apply modifications to things like emotions. We might experience anger, and we might judge ourselves for having angry thoughts in that we feel as though that they are not something that is desired. So, in the same way, in the opposite way, we might do this with a happy emotion. For instance, we're at a party and we're enjoying the community and the pleasant atmosphere. Again, we might attempt to hold on to those pleasant feelings through a variety of actions and modifications. We might grab a cocktail. We might attempt to share our experience with another so that we can perpetuate the feeling of happiness and contentment. So now that we understand what the experience of modification is, we can discuss how that we can restrain the modifications as the sutra suggests. And the way that we do this is ultimately through meditation. Our physical practices of pranayama and asana ultimately are leading us to samadhi through the stilling of the mind through meditation. So when we sit in meditation, we cease to modify. The mind becomes tranquil and still, and we are abiding in our true being, as well as everything that surrounds us. All is in its true state, And in that way, we enter into union with all things. And this ultimately is what all of the observances, disciplines, and practices of yoga seek to bring us to. So ultimately, this second sutra lets us know what our job is here on earth, and that is simply to observe, to be the witness, to abide in our own true nature, and to be united with all other things. This is a state of love and contentment and tranquility, and ultimately is what our practice is designed to bring us to. So it can take a lifetime to accomplish this, or perhaps even many lifetimes. But the road is a joyous one of discovery and expansion, and it's worth doing. So enjoy your practice, and I'll see you next week with Sutra number 3. Have a great day.